Okay, are you ready? We're gonna paint another rock. This is a big one. The last rock we painted was this rock, which now looks like a hamburger or a cheeseburger. Looks good enough to eat, huh? So, but the next one is not going to be a food, really, because Halloween is not too far away and people are buying Halloween stuff. So we're going to make a funny looking pumpkin out of this guy here, okay? So let's just do that. And we'll do it with acrylic paint and we'll just get started. Okay? Deal? Deal. Alright, so first, what do you think is the first color? I'm going to say orange. Orange, you glad I said orange? Okay, so here's my little thing here, and this looks like a nice color orange. So this should be a pretty easy one, really, because a pumpkin, you know, we'll try to make it a little bit fancy. Try to make it a little something extra. But anyway, let's go for the paint. There we go. Paint it all. The thing about painting on rocks is it's different than painting on paper. You know, there's nothing really to absorb it, so it just has to dry there. And since it's acrylic, you know, it dries like a plastic. It dries like a plastic coating. And that's just the way, the nature of the beast. I'm going to add a little yellow to this. That looks almost red. I want it to be orange, not red. So I'm going to add a little bit of that to it. Just kind of wing it. That's how I paint everything. Plus I'm going to have to add some brown. This is obviously going to be more than a one coat. And so I have a style, I guess you will say, when I paint pictures. I have a style that's often, I guess, regarded as impressionistic, which means I do broad brush strokes and sometimes just leave it at that. And I do a lot of digital art that same way. You know, unless I'm illustrating a children's book or something, that I like everything to be very clear and so people can see what they're looking at. But sometimes I just like art to be and more painterly. I'm not telling you that I'm doing this painterly, though. I'm actually going to try to do this more like a cartoon, I think. Alright, we got one side sort of done. Let's do the other side now. And I can't really do the bottom until the top dries, but I can do most of it. And the funny thing is about this is it'll sit on its side. It won't sit any old way. It'll just sit a few different ways. So I kind of decided the bottom is the bottom. The bottom that is there now is the bottom that will be. Okay. Need more paint. Ran out of paint. Gotta add more. Don't worry, I got lots of paint. Off camera. Off camera. Lots of paint. Yeah, so this is going to be like what they call the local color. You know, so we're going to paint it so that it hopefully has some texture and some three-dimensionalism to it. So, yeah, I know it's August and we're talking about Halloween, but people buy stuff like early when they're doing the Halloween thing and the Christmas thing. So that's why we're doing this one, or that's why I'm doing this one. This is a heavy rock too. That hamburger rock is 1.4 pounds. So 1 4/10 of a pound, almost 1.5 pounds. Is that something? It's a heavy rock. So this is more than that. This is a heavier rock than that one. Yeah, I'm just gonna get as much of the bottom as I can, and then I'll worry about the bottom later. So it's such a fast drying medium that I can pretty much do the second coat, the second layer, very soon. Let me move it back into the camera. I'm trying not to touch it with my fingers. There we go. It's starting to become a red rock. The red rock. kind of let it dry and paint over it. Give it a couple coats. Get some more paint out of here. I'll use this color. This is called Raw Sienna. See it? Raw Sienna. Let's see how that looks on there. It might be a mistake to do this, but that's okay. There's one thing I learned in art a long time ago: is mistakes are just temporary, as long as you fix them. You fix mistakes. Let's see. Yeah, it gives a little bit of difference, so that it's not all one color. Go gradual across the whole thing. Plus, we want to make it so it has this reflective quality to it. Okay, turn it around. Yeah, it'll still look good. Looks like a big orange potato, doesn't it? A big orange potato. You see rocks all the time. People leave painted rocks on park benches, etc., etc. You know what I mean? You see them all over the place. It's always fun to find a painted rock. And sometimes they have like websites or Facebook pages written on them or painted on them. Okay. Hey, how's that looking? Can you see that? Is it good enough? Maybe I can lean the camera a little bit more. Alright, let's get a different brush now. Take this one, we'll use some of this dark raw umber, or burnt umber rather. Burnt umber. Okay. We're gonna paint some of the lines. So we're gonna let's see, let's pretend that the stem is right here. We'll work at it later. Okay? And then the little lines that go all the way to the bottom. Just paint it. And I think it's not going to be just a pumpkin. I think it's going to be a jack-o'-lantern. What do you think? I think that's a better idea. Give it a face. It's starting to look like a pumpkin already. Let's turn it around. Get some of these lines to go the other way. I'll have to do something with that stem. So right now, I think right now I have to let it dry. There's not a whole lot I can do while it's wet. Yeah, see what I mean about the impressionistic approach here. Yeah. There we go. Now let's let that dry a little bit. Can you see it? Is it in the middle of the picture of the camera? Yeah, it's starting to look like a pumpkin, I guess. All right, we want to make it a jack-o'-lantern, right? Jack-o'-lantern? Yeah. I'm going to use this off-white here. It's actually called dark titanium white. See it right there? That's what I'm using. I'm going to try to give some highlights here. Let's see if that works out. Might be a mistake. There we go. Just to give it some, variation in the colors. Let's get this side. And I was getting that textured look. So I'm trying to get a little bit of texture. So it looks very pumpkin-y, like it was just picked out of the field. Okay, let's let that dry, and then we'll come back and work on the face of the jack-o'-lantern. Okay. Okay, let's get back to business now. So while the camera was off, I painted the bottom, and I kind of touched up some of the areas on here that I thought should be, a little bit smoother or actually rougher in some cases. So I'm going to try now. Before I do the face, I'm going to add a little bit of this yellow. And what is it actually called? It's called, I always have a hard time finding the name of the color. Cadmium yellow. It's called cadmium yellow. So I'm just gonna try it, see if I can get a little bit of a hint of a bright side and a dark side here. Let me get the brush to be almost hardly with paint, just a slight touch of paint, just like if it was a canvas. Just a little hint of light coming from one side. Just a little hint of it. So, and then I'll put the face on. I think I'm just going to do a normal face, I guess. I don't know, what do you think? Oh, I could do another one later. I think I'll do a normal face on this one, and maybe a more hideous face on another one later on. Yes, you see how that kind of gives it that little bit of a glow. See it? Just a little yellow. Yeah, that makes a difference somewhat. So kind of a little bit of almost like a yellow glaze over the already existing orange. Just turn it around. Keep adding to each piece of it. I'm actually going backwards because if you think about it, if it was really being lit, it would be lit from this side on the opposite side, right? But I'm doing it like a painting. Just give it that little bit of a look. Yes, here's the problem. The light would be coming from that side, and then when I turned it around, I'd be back on the other side again. So I'm gonna put a little bit out there. I have the camera on a tripod, so I hope I'm not moving it out of the shot. And now we're back on this side. This is the side I'm going to put the face on. Okay. Alright, that looks good. That looks like a pumpkin. A pumpkin. Can you see it? Okay. Alright, let's get it. I don't use black much in actual paintings, but I think for something like this, black would be perfect. So I'm using Mars Black. Okay. Oops. Come on, Mars Black. You would think there'd be more in here, considering how rarely I use it. It's got a leak in it. I get black all over my fingers. Look at that. Okay. I think I had a leak in it somewhere. Alright, let's go for this guy now. Let's try and paint a funny face. Like a smiling face. And then of course that big jack-o'-lantern smile. The teeth come down. And the teeth go up from the bottom, and down from the top. Put some black on that stem. Yeah, what do you think? That's a friendly looking jack-o'-lantern, right? It's not a scary looking one. I think that looks pretty friendly. Pretty friendly looking guy. I'm going to try to do something. I may change my mind after I do it, but I'm going to try to add some, maybe a little bit of yellow. I better use a skinnier brush. I better use a very skinny brush. Let's see. I don't think I'm going to like what I'm doing here. I think I'm going to have to undo it, but it's not too bad. It's really not necessary though, is it? I'm trying to get it as if there's like light coming at it from a certain angle. That's working. It's working. Yeah, that's okay. It's not too bad. Pretty funny looking. Pretty funny looking. If I let it dry, then I'll put some black on it again and get some of those areas that are a little bit too thick, you know, cover them with black. But anyway, I think that's our pumpkin. I think that's our jack-o'-lantern. What do you think? Huh? You like it? All right. See you later. Okay, so there's the finished pumpkin. I did work on it a little bit off camera and kind of made it more orange. I didn't like it the way it looked. It looked kind of dirty. So there's the back and the bottom. It's still a little bit tacky, a little bit wet. All right, there it is.